Welcome to the Star Tribune Game of the Week. Coverage is brought to you by the Minnesota Star Tribune and produced by NSPN.TV, the official streaming partner of the Minnesota State High School League.
It is March, which means it's the best time of the year in the basketball world, where the most meaningful games are played, and tonight we book a ticket to the state tournament. It is Section 6 4A final versus the number 1 team, Wayzata, taking on the Hopkins Royals. My name is Hogan Greenwood. So glad to be joined with Star Tribune's Chris Carr. Star, welcome into the broadcast, Chris.
It's great to be here, Hogan. I was going to be here anyway, so good job putting me to work. I don't miss this game. This is one of my favorite games to watch. Any sport, any level, all school year. What an epic rivalry this has become. This is the seventh battle. This is Trojans, Royals, VII, if you speak Roman numerals. We're fired up for tonight. What you got for us?
Yeah, so let's set the table. Wayzata, the number 1 seed in Section 6. They come in with their overall record of 23-4. They beat Hopkins twice this year in the regular season for the first time in a long time. Both close games, though, 73-70, 76-70. Wayzata is down 2 of their top players. They lost Hawkinson in the second meeting against Hopkins. What are we expecting tonight with the Trojans?
Yeah, man, those injuries, they're such a bummer. Both sides have 2 excellent players out tonight. We'll talk about more as the game rolls on. But for Wayzata, it comes down to this. Is this finally the year? The last 6 years, the Trojans have walked out of the Hopkins gym, onto the bus, tears in their eyes, no more games to play. That's so hard for this team. You know they want this one bad tonight. I think it's going to come down to pressuring the ball. And I talked to Julie Stewart, the coach, just a few minutes ago. She was smiling and confident. She said, there's no reason to change now. And that's exactly the approach I think they're going to take. I think we're going to see that the Wayzata press. We're going to see what they do.
Yeah, and for Hopkins on the other side, 23-5. Their only losses, as you mentioned in your story earlier this week, since the new year to Wayzata.
Mm-hmm.
So can the Hopkins Royals make it back to another state tournament and beat Wayzata for the first time this year?
I mean, the answer to that is absolutely yes. They are totally capable of winning this game. They've won this section final 6 years in a row. Like you just said, they're only 20-25. Loss is right here. They went to Tonka and won by 7 not that long ago. They beat Maple Grove back in December. This team, of course, it can win this section final and get back to the state tournament for 11th time in a row if that happens tonight. What a streak.
And who we keep an eye on for Hopkins?
There's plenty of players to watch on Hopkins like usual. They're a very balanced team. We've seen Hopkins teams in the past with superstars, of course. This is a balanced team. I can see 7 different players on this roster scoring double digits tonight. I'm going to watch in particular, though, Jalea Diggs, number 23. Keep an eye on her. She's just a sophomore. She's super tough, gets to the rack, has some really good skill. She's all over the floor with her energy. She's who I'm watching tonight for sure. 23 on Hopkins. Diggs.
Well, it should be a good game tonight. A lot on the line. Can Wayzata make it to the state tournament for the first time in 15 years? Hopkins looking to do it for the 7th year in a row. It should be a good one. It's coming up next on NSPN. It's our Star Tribune Game of the Week. Hopkins and Wayzata live from Wayzata High School. We'll step aside. Tip-off and starters coming your way next.
Hey, sports fans, tourney time is here. And your spot for all the MSHSL tournaments is the Neighborhood Sports Network. If you can't be there, NSPN.TV has you covered. We just wrapped up this past weekend with state wrestling. You can go back and watch it all on demand at NSPN.TV. That's followed by boys hockey, swimming and diving, basketball, and more. Catch it all on the official streaming partner for the Minnesota State High School League, NSPN.TV.
My name is Marshall Bjorkland, and I'm a 5th-generation farmer from St. Peter, Minnesota. What you don't see typically is it's a lot of early mornings, late nights, and there's a lot at risk, but there can be some pretty rewarding times too. Obviously my 2-year-old's a little young yet, but my 4- and 5-year-old son and daughter, they enjoy coming up here, and I think it's my wife and I's hope that they want to continue with the farm. Time will tell what happens there.
Gentlemen, welcome to Wayzata High
School,
home of Trojan basketball.
So when we come back, I'll recap my starters because they just have announced something. And then I'll mention my coaches. I think we touched on a little bit, but I'll just reiterate that, and then I'll send it to you.
Hopkins High School and your Wayzata Trojans. At this time, we ask that you all please rise if you are able, remove your hats, and face the American flag at the south end of the gym as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. For Wayzata, at guard, 6'1" sophomore, number 3, Lauren Day. For the Royals, at forward, 5'11", senior, number 12, Lauren Hillstein. For the Trojans, at forward, 5'11", senior, number 10, Lindsay Harvey. For Hopkins, at guard, 5'10", senior, number 21, London Harris. For Wayzata, at forward, a 6'7", senior, number 11, Allie Bird. For the Royals, at guard, a 5'5", sophomore, number 23, Jalea Diggs. For the Trojans, at guard, a 5'9", sophomore, number 24, Annika Ginger. For Hopkins, at forward, a 6'1", sophomore, number 30, Irma Walker. And for Wayzata, at forward, a 6'2", senior, number 41, Katie Elsenberg. The Royals are led by head coach Tara Starks and come into the game with a regular season record of 22 wins and 5 losses. Wayzata is led by head coach Julie Stewart, and the Trojans come into the game with an overall season record of 22 wins and 4 losses.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hogan Greenwood alongside Star Tribune's Chris Carr. Starters have been announced. Let's get them to you quickly. For Hopkins, Liv Bell, Lauren Hillsheim, London Harris, Jalea Diggs, and Irma Walker. Head coach is Tara Starks. For Wayzata, it's Maren Day, Lindsay Harvey, Allie Burns, Annika Gieser, and Katie Kelsenberg. Head coach is Julie Stewart. Chris, set the table for us here before we get started.
Yeah, well, we heard those starting lineups, and both sides are missing 2 girls that usually would be in those lineups for Wayzata. That's Kate Emelot and Sophie Hawkinson on the Hopkins side, Ava Cupido and Tatum Woodson. Those are 4 D1 players that we won't get to watch, D1 caliber players we won't get to watch tonight. That's too bad, but there are plenty of depth on these teams. You know, we talked about how Diggs could step up for Hopkins on the Wayzata side. Watch for Ani Keyser, and watch coming off the bench the freshman Mallory Macbeth. Those are 2 players to watch on the Wayzata side.
A lot on the line, and this rivalry runs deep. Number 1 seed Wayzata hosting for the first time in a long time here in the section final. They'll be in the home blue. Hopkins is in the road white. A packed gym tonight, and the Wayzata band getting us all pumped up. Jumping up, Walker and Kelsenberg, and the jump ball is gathered in by Annika Keyser. Wayzata will control the opening possession.
Good energy to start, no doubt.
So here is Marin Day, the scintillating sophomore, being pressured out on the perimeter. Some good defense early on by Hopkins. Here's Allie Burns penetrating. Her pass deflected.
Love it.
And a foul going for the loose ball on Hopkins.
Look at that early energy, just really high competitive level here. Man, this is so exciting. How fun is this?
I think it's imperative for Hopkins to get off to a better start, right? They trailed 14-0 on this floor not too long ago.
Absolutely, and they did not look good in the first half against Edina, just to be frank, in their semifinal. So I want to see a much better start out of Hopkins tonight.
So Hopkins coming off of wins against St. Louis Park and Edina. They get a steal with London Harris, and she missed in tight. And Marin Day comes back to pick up the rebound.
Yep, nerves. We'll see that. We'll see that both sides a few times here in the first few minutes. That's no big deal.
London Harris, the 5'10 senior, averaging just over 8 points per game, and a turnover for Allie Burns.
Yep, more nerves. All good. These girls will shake this stuff off. These are awesome players. We're not going to be missing layups and traveling tonight. This is just nerves.
So Wayzata earned a bye in the quarterfinals for the first time in a while. They handled Robbinsdale Armstrong in the semis.
They jumped them too. I mean, Armstrong didn't know it hit him in the first few minutes. That's not going to be the case tonight. Hopkins is ready.
And here is Hopkins' first offensive set in the half court. Liv Bell will run the show, point guard, number 2 in white. And they turn it over looking for Irma Walker, intercepted by Kelsenberg.
No air. These defenses are not going to let you get anywhere easy tonight.
Backdoor look and intercepted. Lauren Hillshine backtracking for the steal.
Good D. Good rotation here.
Here is London Harris pull-up jumper, a little too strong, and the rebound collected by Burns.
This gym is so fun. Look at this energy in this gym tonight, Hogan.
Great environment tonight, deep-rooted rivalry. Kelsenberg stuck in the corner. And Julie Stewart was calling for a timeout, and it looks like one of the officials recognized it. You can't even hear in this gym, as you mentioned.
Wow. I love it. You know, this game has been in the Hopkins gym the last 6 years, and that's such a great place to watch hoops. The energy in there is always just on point, electric. I was wondering about how this would come off tonight because the Wayzata gym is much different. There's an ocean of space between the baseline and where the fans sit, but so far we've got a lot of good volume in here, good energy in here. The players can feel it too. We saw some mistakes that those girls want to just erase. We won't be seeing a lot of that tonight, though. I think these girls kind of get the nerves out of their system, and I bet we see a real sharp run here soon in the first half. That's my prediction here.
And I don't remember how the first meeting started between these two teams back in the 24-25 season, how that went early on. I don't think I've seen Wayzata uncomfortable in quite a while like this. Credit to Hopkins early on.
Absolutely.
Because as we mentioned, Wayzata started out 14-0 before Sophie Hawkinson went down.
Okay, that's a smart timeout there. Let's see if these teams get a little bit more set.
16 on the shot clock for Wayzata to work. They'll get it into the backcourt with Allie Burns, who comes in averaging right around 9 points per game.
Wayzata's just a little out of sync here.
Deep in the shot clock, Day gonna have to create. It's Lindsay Harvey. Does she realize it? She does, and it's short. And another great defensive set for the Royals.
They are not giving them any space to move, to even breathe. My goodness, Hopkins, way to show up on D early. Love it.
And I think they got a big chip on their shoulder. It doesn't happen a lot between these two teams as they've really dominated the series, but losing for the first time in a while, twice this year, they are very hungry to get back to the state tournament. There's a trap on Hillshine, who
Smart play.
wisely throws it off a Keyser.
Yep, smart play there.
That Wayzata full court pressure is something to behold.
I mean, this gym should be full of junior high teams watching how well he plays defense. They're just setting awesome examples for young players in here tonight.
Julie Stewart in her 4th year. Her calling card is the defensive end of the floor. She's really left her imprint on this program in her short stint as head coach. Here is Lauren Hillshine, who did not have a good game in the last time out. She misses badly on a 3. Rebound is collected by Harvey. Allie Burns looking to run. Tied up and stripped away down low by Jalea Diggs. Diggs kick it out for Hillshine. Extra pass for Liv Bell. She'll let it fly in and out on the 3. And a cold start for both teams. And a foul in transition as Annika Kieser will pick it up on Hopkins.
Yeah, they've been letting them go. I'm not sure what was happening there. I didn't see anything jump out at me, but they've been letting them play. A lot of good physical, hard effort so far. This is nice. Wayzata's learning real fast. They knew this already, but this is, getting to the hole against Hopkins is much harder than getting against Armstrong.
Good inbounds play by Wayzata, but Jalea Diggs coming over with the rejection. It'll stay with Wayzata underneath.
Keep watching that from Diggs. She is everywhere on the court. She is so much fun to watch.
And something you will notice throughout the night is Wayzata has the size mismatch in a couple of different spots, but the physicality and the dog in the Hopkins defenders really makes the difference.
Yep. Wayzata they don't have the height at all the spots, but they can get their way to the hoop. Let's just see if they can get what kind of look they can get out of this.
Here is Annika Kieser bouncing it for Kelsenberg, and she traveled. So that is 2 early turnovers for both teams, opening minutes first half.
You mentioned how Julie's brought the press to Wayzata just to a new level. I've always been impressed with Tara and how she brings what she sets up on defense for the Royals.
And what a tall task for her to replace the longtime head coach for Hopkins.
For sure.
But she's done an excellent job. And so Hopkins does turn it over on a travel.
Yep. Yeah, I was talking to Tara before the game. She had a nice, confident smile. I'm supposed to say hi to TT. She said, say hi to my baby girl TT in Phoenix. So check that box off for Coach.
Allie Burns gets it into the front court, into the corner for Lindsay Harvey, trying to force it down low. It wasn't there for Kelsenberg.
Man, what defense we're seeing.
We talked beforehand off air that this game might be in the 60s, but we might be in the 50s the way this game is started.
Yeah, can we readjust our over-under here?
Here is London Harris, who had the best look of the night but missed it. Now it's Irma Walker driving and draws the foul.
Yep.
And how good has Irma Walker been in her young career with Hopkins?
I feel like she's been, I looked at the roster and thought she was a sophomore, and I was like, man, we've been watching her play probably in these big games since she was at least in 8th grade.
Yeah, a couple years ago, she really made her name known in the state tournament.
Yep.
And she will be at the line shooting 2. Looking to break the ice here in opening minutes, about 3 1/4 gone.
There it is. Now we're on the scoreboard. Get one of those zeros off the scoreboard.
And here comes the fabulous freshman, Mallory McBeth, a part of a basketball family. Her older brother, Wyatt McBeth, plays on the boys basketball team with Wayzata. And Lindsay Harvey will get an early break. Irma Walker splits a pair. The rebound is picked up by Harris, and a second chance for the Royals.
Good hustle over there by Harris.
Second chance points are going to be big in this game.
Hopkins is trying to cut, but Wayzata's cutting every one of them off.
Here is Lauren Hillshine deep in the shot clock. Jalea Diggs puts it on the deck. Kick it outside. Liv Bell tees it up. Missed it. Rebound is gathered in by Kelsenberg.
Senior bringing it up there. Smart move. See what you can create.
Allie Burns doing her work early, and Wayzata leads for the first time tonight.
Senior to get off that zero. Senior. That was nice. There's Diggs. So fast.
Hillshine off the mark on a 3. Another rebound for Liv Bell.
Good sportsmanship there, helping her up. Like to see that.
Whistle and a foul. It's going to go on Annika Kieser. One thing Wayzata can do that often hurts themselves is get into foul trouble.
Oh, yeah.
They'll have to make sure they keep that in check tonight.
Yep, yep. 2-1. How about this? So intense. I'm not sure what the camera shows, but we got fans stacking up pretty well on both ends of the court. Both the side bleachers are full. Good environment.
Get it into Hillshine. Now it's London Harris driving, slipping through, and scores.
Nice move there by London. She's had a great first few minutes here. There's a freshman.
Allie Burns stop and pop, short. Rebound is tapped and taken by Walker.
They look to Diggs every time, don't they? Go create.
Just love that aggressive downhill take by Diggs. Not afraid of the contact. Julia Diggs, just a sophomore. How about the underclassmen in this game, Chris?
Talent on both sides. We got good seniors. We got good freshmen. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why these two teams meet in the section finals every year, right? They got good depth, good leadership, well coached, excellent talent.
Julia Diggs was one of 4 Hopkins Royals to score in double figures last time they played here at Wayzata High School. She scored a baker's dozen 13.
That's what they do. They spread it around. 12 for you, 13 for me, 14 for her. That's how they do it.
Much different Hopkins team than what we've seen in the past with Paige Beckers and many other talented players that have come through the program.
Yeah. If anybody gets north of 25 or even 20 tonight, I'll kind of be surprised for both sides. I mean, Wayzata's not much different. They got they have a handful of girls who could hit that 14 to 18 point mark tonight.
Two out of 2 from the line for Diggs. It's 5-2 Hopkins in the early going.
So watch this full court pressure all night. They just had 2 up there. Sometimes they bring a third.
Marin-Day picked up her dribble.
My goodness. 5 seconds. What did he call?
And they're going to call a timeout first. So Julie Stewart using 2 timeouts in this first half.
Wow.
Chris, you cannot pick up your dribble there right across half court.
No, and they know that. I don't want to keep making the nerves excuse on both sides. Certainly it's showing on Wayzata. This is one of those situations where I can't help but think about the semifinal. They come off a game where, nothing against Armstrong by any means, but that was a bum rush. I mean, Wayzata had that game in hand within minutes, and so you play out that semifinal. Your intensity is just different. It just is. These are human beings. When you're up by 20, 30, 40, your mind and your body are different. Now you go from that mood to the section final. Finally in your own gym, you're feeling that home court pressure. That's a little different than the away court pressure, and it's tough. This is Hopkins, and they are not giving them even a centimeter to think or breathe.
It's such a big difference, too, without having your senior point guard leading the way, handling the basketball.
Absolutely.
They got 2 sophomores handling the basketball out top. Here is Allie Burns, who has the lone bucket for Wayzata. A handoff for Kelsenberg. She turns the corner.
So strong here.
Knocked away momentarily. Kelsenberg puts it up. Too strong. Kieser flying in for the rebound.
Nice.
She shovels it off for Kelsenberg, but she traveled.
Well, I like that hustle from Ani, 24. She's just a sophomore. Super strong kid. She'll get more of those tonight. So no full court press here from Wayzata. I gotta wonder if they're gonna go with a shorter bench. We might see some zone. We might go with maybe a 7-player rotation. They don't want foul trouble, so you might see a little zone and pull off the full court press now and then.
Here is Inara Nesbitt onto the floor for the first time tonight, along with number 11, Malia White, who had a fantastic performance. She had 17 points in the loss against Wayzata last time out. Here is Nesbitt penetrating, blocked.
Nice help, D.
And 11 to shoot for the Royals.
Good job by Marin-Day, seeing the penetration there and coming over on the help. Clean block.
Malia White will trigger in, coming into the game, averaging just a shade under 8 points per game. Try to throw it off of Day. It falls into Walker, and Malia White will set it up top with Julia Diggs. Deep in the shot clock, she'll pull the trigger, and the rebound to Allie Burns.
What great just physical contest on both sides. Girls going hard for the offensive rebound. Great box out. Wayzata trying a little something different now, clearing some space, bringing the ball up.
Here is Allie Burns working high post, and a reach-in foul on Nesbitt, who is just a sophomore as well, another underclassman, and that'll be the third team foul on Hopkins.
Yep.
And that is one of those mismatches they can take advantage of if you're Wayzata. Now it's going to be important for Wayzata too when they get their touches down in the bigs to be strong with the basketball and recognize if you're going to get doubled, an open shooter is out top. Here is Keyser, who missed the three badly. It falls to Macbeth, and she's stripped out of play.
Yep, good hustle by Mallory to get in there and get that rebound. I like what I'm seeing out of Nesbitt from Hopkins. I'm so impressed with London Harris, 21 on Hopkins. Let's keep watching her. She's bringing it on both ends. One of their leaders, and we're seeing why tonight. Hopkins going with a different rotation here.
Number 22, Ava Smith, coming in off the bench, the freshman. And another turnover as Day throws it away. Nesbitt running the floor.
Good idea.
Able to save it on the baseline, but right to Macbeth. And Wayzata has numbers if they can hurry. Hopkins gets back in transition. It's Keyser.
Nice move.
Kept her pivot foot down, but missed the layup.
Nice move, smart move.
Diggs, and that's just unfortunate. Lost the handle in between her legs, collected it, and then Keyser committed the foul.
Yeah, is that 2 on her?
Yeah, that'll be 2 on her, which we talked about. Foul trouble is important.
Yeah, and you know this is probably what Wayzata can't afford here is this early foul trouble that might make Julie have to rethink some of her rotation strategies that she wanted to execute in this game. We'll see. So Keyser staying in with 2.
Yeah, we'll see how deep Julie Stewart goes with her bench tonight. Here is Lauren Hilsheim, the leading scorer for Hopkins, who had not a great performance last time out against Wayzata.
Jump.
Loose ball and a tie-up. The arrow will keep it on this end of the floor.
Okay, so if she's leaving Ani in with 2 fouls, that tells us, I think. She might get subbed out now, but the fact that she even left her in there shows me how short her bench is tonight.
And they'll make a sub for her now. This is a player, Chris, and Tessa Frank, who's really come on over the last couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
And she is very talented. I've seen her play at the junior varsity level.
Yep.
Great inbounds play for Hopkins.
That's a nice play, Hopkins.
Wayzata fell asleep, and Malia White will lay it in. Malia White makes it 7-2 Hopkins.
Yeah, good to see Tess out there. She had some JV and varsity minutes, and now here she is in the section final getting subbed in right away. It's pretty great.
Here is Marin Day turning the corner.
She's got
counted and one. A chance at a three-point play from Marin Day.
That was a really slick move. She's so skilled offensively. Was that her grandpa? Her grandpa came up here and said hi to you earlier, right? Yeah.
Yes, he was watching down in Belize, which is incredible.
I know. It might be your like farthest away fan, Hogan.
Yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate everybody watching from around the globe. So Wayzata finally gets a field goal from someone other than Allie Burns.
Right.
And Marin Day will have a chance at a three-point play from the line. Rebound.
Kelsenberg battle.
Marin Day finds it. Picked up her dribble in the lane, knocked away. Hilsheim to the floor.
Look at Katie hustling.
Hopkins has numbers. Bounce it. London Harris. Count it and one.
Yeah. London Harris, how impressive, right? What a great starter. Is she a junior or a senior? I can't.
Senior, yeah.
She's a senior. Yeah, she's playing like it. This isn't her first, high stakes, big showdown. She's just excellent.
So London Harris with the early 4 points for Hopkins. She'll have a chance to make it 5 at the line. Here's Lindsay Harvey coming back into the game.
So Lindsay took Sophie's place in the starting lineup. I love her defense. She can do quite a few things right, but her defense is one of those sneaky good players that come up with like 3-4 blocks on you when you think you have a clean shot. 3-point play there for London.
Much different game than last time. Hopkins out to a great start, 10-4.
Nice move. Oh, trouble. She did a great job of breaking the press there, and I think maybe she just got out in front of her shoes there a little bit, but she did a great job breaking that press.
And that is the 6th turnover already in this first half for Wayzata.
Yep. Can't have that. They got to correct that, or otherwise they're going to the 6-point lead or 6-point deficit will turn into 16 too fast.
Approaching 11 minutes to go, opening half. Hogan Greenwood alongside Chris Carr. Great backdoor look. That was altered at the rim. London Harris missed it, and the ball will stay with the Royals.
So a little something different there. They were swinging the ball wide and had a really backdoor cut there. It was interesting. I thought Hopkins was going to try to get a breather there and run some clock, but they they tricked me too. All of a sudden they had a backdoor cut to the hoop.
Get it into Lauren Hillshine. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Only had 3 points against Wayzata here on the road. Had 16 points in the three-point loss at Hopkins High School earlier in the year. Here is Jalea Diggs in the lane. Gets it to go. Tough bucket for Jalea Diggs.
Yep, she's a special one, no doubt. Just a sophomore.
8-point lead for the Royals. Frank looking down low. She got it back. Now it's Kelsenberg out of the short corner. Up top for Marin Day. Inside for Kelsenberg.
Nice pass, nice
and she's able to finish it off.
How about the senior there working hard? Katie's been hustling up and down the court, doing her thing. She's real tough. Talked to one of the players who had to guard her in practice, and they've had those, shout out to the bench players who have to deal with all the scout team work during these sectionals because JV is over, so their job is to get worked over in practice, and shout out to those girls.
Here is Malia White. Shot might have been blocked. It was short. Hillshine tried to save it, and they're going to call it off of Wayzata, and Lindsay Harvey got a piece of it, much to the chagrin of the Wayzata faithful.
Yeah, not sure if that one was the right call, but it's okay. These refs got their handful today. These super intense games. They don't want to, they don't want to call too tight, too loose. I think they're doing a great job.
So Irma Walker returns for the Royals. Allie Burns back on the floor for the Trojans. Malia White will trigger in. Get it into London Harris, who has an early 5 points. Nice denial by Allie Burns, and it's last touch by Walker.
I just don't think that's going to. I don't know if that's going to work. They're looking. They go Diggs and London up top, and they keep looking for Walker. I just might be too tight in there tonight, but we'll see.
Annika Kieser back on the floor, playing with 2 fouls.
Interesting.
9:45 to go, first half. Wayzata trailing by 6, and just a little overzealous there on the perimeter.
Yep.
So that'll be the 5th team foul for Hopkins.
Has
and so
Wayzata...
that's 2 fouls on Harris, by the way. Excuse me, Chris, but go ahead and make your point.
I was going to say, has Wayzata had a clean shot yet? I'm trying to think. I'm not sure they have. Maybe I had 1-3 that was a little bit open. That might have been it, but everything is contested. Hopkins is in the pockets as soon as somebody catches the ball.
Here is Allie Burns. Lost the handle to Kieser. Spins out, she got it back, and the finish.
Nice. Tons of muscle and hustle there.
Annika Kieser gets her first bucket of the game. Back to a 4-point game. Hopkins trying to answer quickly. It's able to be hustle. Saved on the baseline by Malia White. Back up top for Jalea Diggs.
Liv Bell on the weak side helped there on that rebound, kept that position alive. Good work by 2.
Wayzata working in that 2-3 zone. Here's Walker,
Jeez.
Tough bucket.
How about that? What an angle that was.
Adjusting mid-air. And Irma Walker has an early 3 points.
We've seen her skill, and that was, I'm not sure I've seen an angle like that for a while. That was a really nice make by Irma. So Wayzata's shown us 3 or maybe 4 different press break looks so far. Interesting.
And again, Marin Day picks up a dribble.
Wide
Got
open.
it off for Kieser. Great look. Macbeth for 2.
Sophomore to freshman there.
And that back door is going to be open for Wayzata if Hopkins is really pressuring the basketball.
Open.
In the corner, Hillshine, a little too strong. 1 and done for Hopkins.
Watch out. Here we go.
Good composure this time by Marin Day. She'll carry it across the timeline. Up top for Kelsenberg.
Gosh, Hopkins is so tight on D. Look at that. No passing lanes.
Here is Marin
Good
Day.
handles.
Nice.
Yep, Marin she's got not many players on the floor have more skills in the bag than Marin. Excellent offensive player. 2-point game all of a sudden.
Closest it's been in a long time, and a foul on Kelsenberg.
A little too much, yep.
As I try to dump it into Walker.
I think she just got a little too tight in there. Didn't give her landing spot. You got to give the player the landing spot.
So that'll be 16 fouls now for Wayzata. So any subsequent foul will be free throws for Hopkins, with the exception of an offensive foul. 8:06 remaining first half.
Seen a few hands on the hips. I think both coaches are leaving their key players in.
Hillsheim on a shot fake.
Everything is contested there.
Rebound down to Marinde. Wayzata can tie or take the lead on this possession. Nearly stolen away. Macbeth will let it fly. And she got fouled on a three.
Yep, we'll see three free throws there from Mallory. That was almost stolen. Hopkins almost had a steal there. That might have been an easy two going the other way, but difference of an inch of a fingertip, and Mallory got that shot off. We'll see three free throws from her.
Yeah, I don't think Hopkins minds the gamble there with Wayzata throwing a couple soft passes here and there.
Yep.
Just don't want the foul on a three-point shooter.
Yeah.
So here is Macbeth at the line, knocking down the first of three.
Mallory's just a freshman. You'll see the great shooting stroke from her. You'll see a few threes, I'm sure. Well, we just saw one. That won't be the last one. Excellent shooter. Brings hustle. Been a great addition. She comes off the bench and brings that spark. Had some really nice games.
I think she had 18 points in the section semifinal.
She led them against Armstrong.
Yep.
And all of a sudden we have a tie game here. This was not looking good for Wayzata 2 minutes ago, and now they have the lead.
15 to 14. Wayzata coming all the way back.
Okay, now we're seeing a different look out of Wayzata's D.
Might have been a travel. Diggs navigates through in the corner. Malia White. Rebound to Marinde.
Nice, Marin.
Skying over the top. Dump it down low for Burns. Tough catch. And I think we got a foul on Hopkins.
Yeah, that might have been Diggs anticipating the shot. Good hustle there.
And that'll be the sixth team foul on Hopkins. They'll make it seventh because they just had a foul on the three-point shot, so that'll be 1-1 here for Allie Burns.
Yep. Or was she shooting there? I couldn't. Oh, no, I said 1-1. Yep. You know, shout out to Irma Walker. Has she subbed? Has she come out yet? She's been
just once.
Okay.
Just once.
She was up and down just now again. All hustle, making smart plays.
And Allie Burns earns the bonus free throw.
One more.
Nesbitt trying to steal possession there.
Yes, right. Seeing if the refs have some nerves too. They didn't let her get away with it though.
Allie Burns with her first point after she opened the scoring for Wayzata a long time ago. It's 2 out of 2 from the line.
Cool senior there.
Largest lead of the night for Wayzata here.
Oh yeah. Let's see if Hopkins shows us a little something different here.
11-0 run for the Trojans, and here is Liv Bell back on the floor. Playing catch on the perimeter with Diggs. Get it into Irma Walker, draws a double team, and able to score it off the window.
So good. Nice job, Irma. Broke that run that you just mentioned, so good to see Hopkins get back at it. Turnover.
Burns coughs it up. Liv Bell, a little out of control.
Yep, just kind of lost her spot there a little bit. It's a good move to the hoop. What are they going to?
It's got to be a foul on the screen, right? They just blew it up.
Can't be.
I don't think it was on Wayzata.
Yeah.
I think she set a good screen. The defender just ran through it.
Yep.
At least that's what I saw from my perspective. We'll see what they call it.
Julia held the ball for an extra second there to make sure that was going how she wanted to go.
So this will put Wayzata back at the free throw line. It's Annika Kieser shooting a 1-1.
So Kieser has to pull herself off the court after that nice hard collision, and we'll see if she can knock these down.
And that was actually a big call, because if it was on Kieser, that would have been her third.
Yeah, that would have been a really big call. Ani's just a sophomore. Played in this game last year.
Misses the front end, but look at Kelsenberg on the offensive glass.
Katie playing like a senior who wants this one. You know, this is her fourth time in this game. She wants this one.
19-16, get it into Hillsheim, high post, off the mark, rebound, tapped to the corner, and taken by Kelsenberg.
I think Lauren was surprised to see herself open there and kind of clutched it for a half second.
Macbeth over the top, and that's there all night for Wayzata. Burns couldn't finish it.
Oh, Walker, nice rebound.
And Walker clears.
Look at the vision on Diggs.
Always head up, right?
Just love it.
Diggs, dump it inside for Walker. Left it short.
Yeah, I think that caught Irma by surprise. I bet Diggs.
I think she was ready to box out, right?
Yeah, I think Diggs, when she sees that on tape, might want to. She'll probably think she should have put that up, but.
Burns can't hit on the other end.
Good rebound by Lauren.
Up and down we go.
Here's Diggs again.
Diggs will pull up in transition. Rebound to Macbeth.
That's a good shot, though, if they're not going to come out.
Wayzata running the floor. Good hustle there by
Yep.
Diggs to knock it away. Keyser was lurking.
Yep. That's a good no call there. Both girls going for the ball. I like that. You know, we're in the section final here. This is.
All the fans are going to overreact on every call.
Oh, sure. Parents and their friends, they're all, they're into this thing big time. I was talking to a few on both sides before the game. Nervous smiles. I love it, though. This is what tonight's all about.
Kelsenberg, good defense there by Ava Smith.
Freshman and senior, and the freshman did okay there. Or better than okay, I should say.
Good active hands. Harvey back into the game.
Boy,
Bell drives baseline, got it back and scored it.
I love the hustle there. Way to go, Liv. That was really, really good.
And that's Liv Bell's first bucket of the night. Here's Martin Day into the front court, all the way in.
Man, we are seeing some awesome plays by these girls. Shout out to both these teams. What an entertaining first half so far.
We approach the 5-minute mark here in this first half. Hillsheim, skip pass, Malia White, blocked.
Peace.
Wayzata looking to run. Day is fouled.
Let's see, was that on Diggs? I think it was on Diggs. So that's her second, I believe.
It will go on Diggs. 9th team foul for Hopkins, and that'll be the second on Jalea Diggs.
That's a lot of fouls, but I think they're calling this game really well. Nothing feels too loose or too tight. It's just physical. These girls are going at the hoop.
That was a shooting foul, so Marin Day getting 2, knocks down the first. Kelsenberg gets a much-needed breather.
Super impressed with Katie's game so far tonight.
Just a 2-year starter. She is known for her volleyball play. Multi-time state champion at the volleyball level.
Little 5-point lead here for Wayzata.
23-18. Wayzata has put the early nerves away. And Hopkins trailing by a couple possessions. Their leading scorer so far is London Harris.
It's going to be a great final 5 minutes of this half. 4:40 left in this thing. It's going to be awesome.
Harris is on the bench right now. Hopkins trying to direct things in the 2-3 zone. Shot clock's under 10. Another deflection there by Day. Malia White collects with 5 on the timer. White, deep 3, puts it in.
Confident shot there. I felt like she knew that was going to go in. She kind of left the hand hanging a little bit.
And we saw a glimpse of that. We saw a glimpse of that in the game here at Wayzata High School.
And she gets the steal.
Malia White, a quick 5 points, and we're tied at 23.
Wow. What did I tell you, Hogan? I told you these last few minutes are going to be good.
And
good
Hopkins,
sportsmanship there. Yep. I think that was Ava. Is that Ava helping her up? I love seeing that,
Hopkins knocks it out of play. Wayzata will keep it. 4 minutes to go.
Looks like Katie's coming back in already.
Just a short stint for her.
Yep. She got maybe 2 sips of water, Hogan. I don't think she got to that 3rd sip. So clearly Wayzata is with a real short bench. Hopkins, I think maybe had one or maybe 2 more subs than Wayzata. Turnover.
So that is the 8th turnover of the night for Wayzata. Not a terrible idea from Marin Day. Just have to take one dribble down to the baseline and feed that pass at a better angle.
Yep. So now we're going with, let's see, we got Wayzata in a zone, no press, probably trying to catch a breath a little bit. Seattle try to avoid an extra foul.
Yep, next foul will put Hopkins on the line. Another deflection there by Marin Day. Hopkins can shoot over the zone. Here is Jalea Diggs, short, and the rebound today.
Man, Marin just always
bounce it for Keyser. And his last touch by Hopkins.
So Wayzata continues to look at Marin Day often. She's often in the right spot at the right time too, hustling to the ball, picking the ball up. Hopkins always looking to Diggs. Some playmakers are kind of emerging here in this game. No surprise that it's those two, but both teams kind of look into their. Oh, here she is again, Marin.
Keyser comes to get it. Plenty of time on the timer. Keyser turns the corner, gets the whistle, and will head to the line.
Lauren Hillsheim wasn't too sure about that one.
Well, that goes on Diggs, which is her third.
Oh, I didn't. Wow.
So they did not call it on Hillshine.
I wonder if maybe it was a backside play there. I missed that.
That's a big foul, though.
That's
3 on Diggs.
Huge. Oh, she's got to come out, right? Yeah, she's got to inside.
Certainly can't let her pick one up in the final 3 minutes.
No. You know, that's too bad. She's really, really fun to watch. No doubt she'll influence this game. No doubt come in the second half. I'm not sure we'll see her again this half, though. You can't risk that 4th foul.
1 out of 2 from the line for Keyser. She's up to 4 points on the night, but Wayzata goes back in front.
Looks like Malia White now kind of playing that playmaker role.
She knocked down a few big-time threes in that loss last time against Wayzata. She had a quick 5 points to get this game tied up. Keyser extending the pressure. Wayzata going for a quick trap. Bell dribbles out of it. Here is Irma Walker, steps in and knocks it down.
Yep, nice shot there, Irma. Good job by Hopkins, not panicking there, working the ball around. So that's Ava Smith for Hopkins. Really, really excellent freshman. Putting on the pressure there. 1 point game, 2:45 left.
And Hopkins will back off their full court pressure. High post, nice look. Burns to Keyser for 2.
Way to plant your feet. Keyser, way to knock that down. That could have been an out-of-control shot. She didn't let that happen. Got her feet underneath her and laid it in nice.
Here is Walker working on Kelsenberg. Into the corner, Liv Bell. Could not answer. Rebound, knocked out of play, and last touch by the Royals.
Really nice hustle there by Allie Burns, the senior for Wayzata 11. She's all over the place on that one, getting a hand on a pass, I think, getting a hand up for a shot. Lauren Hillshine with almost knocked that for a steal. All right, 2:13 left. 1 point game for Wayzata. This is so good. You having fun over there?
Yeah, it's a great time. This game is incredible. The pace that this game has been played at, too. They get it into Marinte, and she knocks it down.
Yep, excellent score. Just really impressed by how Marin's played this year.
And she is the first player into double figures tonight with 10 points.
It's like Hopkins is trying to get a little bit of a slower pace here. That might be a factor of not having Diggs in the game. They might kind of have to just work it a little bit. Good hands.
Smith picked up her dribble, back outside for White. 15 on the timer. Bell back up top for White. Now it's Bell. She'll drive baseline, working on the freshman, but left it short. Macbeth leading the break. And we'll slow it up. Here is Marinte. Now Allie Burns surveys. Burns working on Smith. Burns pulls up and knocks it down.
Wow. Really good 60 seconds here or so from Allie Burns, the senior, both ends of the floor. Hogan, I think Hopkins is having a hard time getting Hillshine a look on the wing. I can tell she wants to catch the ball and shoot it on the wing. Right here, can she do it? I think Mallory maybe closed her out a little bit there. That's what nice pass.
Walker, nice from the elbow.
Nice. So Lauren, I think, wanted to take that shot. Instead, she was smart, unselfish, took a dribble, saw her teammate on the elbow, and nailed it.
And that middle of the lane is going to be open in the 2-3 zone.
It is. She can go all the way.
Marinte nearly got it to go. But a 9-second difference, shot clock to game clock, final 40 seconds of the first half. Malia White, no, not a good shot there. And now Wayzata can hold for the final look.
One of those heat check shots, right? You gotta make sure you're not red hot from out there.
Not a great pass from Kelsenberg. They could have held for the final shot. Instead, Malia White steals it away. And Hopkins can now hold for the final look. 17 seconds to go. 9 first half turnovers for the Trojans. Here is White up top. Working on Day. Down to 10. Hillshine out of the corner. Back outside for White. 5 to shoot. White looks up.
3.
Great separation.
Nope.
Short. Rebound from Smith. And that will end the first half.
Wow. Wow, Hogan. So we got 30 for Wayzata, 27 for Hopkins. That felt like a one-possession game. It was not, but it felt like a one-possession game the whole way. How about Ava Smith there at the very end? She almost caught that for a little putback at the buzzer, but it didn't go. And Wayzata takes a 3-point lead into the locker room. I think the nerves have worn off. I think we've seen sharper play. I know we got foul trouble. Definitely on the Hopkins side with Diggs. She was my player to watch coming into this game. She's playing really, really well. I think maybe she just, a couple of those just, got her hand in the wrong spot, the wrong time. But I think she's playing excellent. What are you seeing on the floor?
Yeah, so Wayzata went on a 6-3 run to close the half. They take a 3-point lead into the break. We'll step aside and come back, break it down at halftime. Leading scorer for Wayzata is Marin Day, the lone scorer in double figures with 10. Leading the way for Hopkins is Irma Walker with 9. Coming back for the Section 6 final in just a moment. 30-27, Wayzata leads Hopkins at the break. We'll step aside.
Up here, it's all about perspective. From the good life to the bad weather, the cities, the townships, the land, the water. It's the state we love to love. It's the state we hate to leave. Fly over? Do so at your own peril, because perspective matters. And if it's happening down there, and over there, or up there, read about it here, and here, and all across here. This isn't Minnesota nice. This is Minnesota news, and we are the Minnesota Star Tribune. We're not a paper, we're a fabric, one that can unite, incense, connect, frustrate, represent, and reflect all of us. It's the faces you may know. It's the voices you may not have heard. It's major, minor, it's urban, rural, it's left, right, and center field, because all the state's a stage, and everyone plays their part. We are the Minnesota Star Tribune, the heart and voice of the North.
Are you betting on sports? If you are, know that sports betting is definitely considered gambling, and people who bet on sports, especially adolescents, are more likely to develop a gambling problem. So stay safe and remember that sports betting is illegal and unregulated in Minnesota. This means you're betting on offshore sites with weak data security and super unreliable payouts. Learn more at mnapg.org/youthgambling.
My name is Marshall Bjorklund, and I'm a 5th-generation farmer from St. Peter, Minnesota. What you don't see typically is it's a lot of early mornings, late nights, and there's a lot at risk, but there can be some pretty rewarding times too. Obviously my 2-year-old's a little young yet, but my 4- and 5-year-old son and daughter, they enjoy coming up here, and I think it's my wife and I's hope that they want to continue with the farm. Time will tell what happens there.
Upper Lakes have always been very supportive. I do have a pretty good relationship with the drivers and the management.
We care about their life and their family outside of work and what's important to them.
Truck driving has put me in a situation as far as being able to live a little bit more comfortably.
And by having that family business culture, it can overflow into our employees as well.
Tornadoes happen, hail happens. That's where Capital Construction comes in. Our specialty is storm restoration.
We pride ourselves on our customer service at Capital Construction.
Inspections are free. We're in and out same day, pain-free.
First half we had there between number 1 Wayzata at number 2 Hopkins in the Section 6 4A final. Wayzata leading by 3 at the break. Lauren Day has 10 points. Irma Walker has 9 for Hopkins. Chris, your first half takeaways.
Dude, I'm tired. How do you do this all the time? I'm exhausted. My gosh, that was so much fun. I loved watching that basketball, the first half of basketball. You know, I got a few things to say on the Hopkins and Wayzata side. You know, on Hopkins, obviously Diggs has got the foul trouble. I want to see her back on the court and not picking up anymore and being the big factor in this game as she can. And on the Wayzata side, watch those seniors. Watch Allie Burns. Watch Katie Kelsenberg. They're playing for their fellow senior Sophie Hawkinson, who's out with a knee injury. If Wayzata can pull this off, I bet it's on the backs of those two seniors.
Yeah, and how about Hopkins defensively in that first half? Julie Stewart had to exercise 2 early timeouts, so she'll be left with 3 in the second half. Meanwhile, Tara Starks has all 5 of her timeouts left. It took a while for Wayzata to settle in, but once they finally settled in, they got their footing, and they have the lead at the half.
Yep. I mean, I'm glad you pointed out both coaches. Tara had this team totally ready to go. Those first 2 minutes, it was like Wayzata could barely think and breathe. Good job by Julie, though, to counter, call a couple times. You know, she's probably not loving using those timeouts, but settle things down a little bit, couple new strategies. Both coaches are, A+ on both sides.
And a big storyline in the second half will be foul trouble. Keyser, just 2 fouls for Wayzata. She sat for a little bit here and there, but the big story for Hopkins is Jalea Diggs went to the bench, final 3 minutes, 18 seconds, picked up her 3rd.
Yep. And, Hopkins got depth. A couple players stepped up in her absence, but we saw the pace change. And we saw the offense get maybe a little stuck here and there. When Diggs is on the floor, I just feel like, you can't take your eyes off her. The ball moves faster. They flow a little bit better. So it's essential for Hopkins for Diggs to have. She was playing great. So if they can get more of that out of her in the second half, they'll be there. I've already said they're right back in it, but they already are right back in it. It's gonna be a tight second half.
Well, it should be an exciting second half. A lot on the line. Wayzata looking to beat Hopkins for the 3rd time this year, trying to make it back to the state tournament for the first time in 15 years. Meanwhile, Hopkins looking to pull the mini upset and make it back to the state tournament for the first time. And make it 7 years in a row. They're trying to do that with a
11.
second half win.
That'd be 11 in a row for Hopkins to get to the state.
11 in a row. That'll be the 7th time they beat Wayzata in the section final. So a lot on the line. Second half is coming your way next. You're watching the Star Tribune Game of the Week here from Wayzata High School.
Tornadoes happen, hail happens, lots of wind happens. That's where Capital Construction comes in.
Our specialty is storm restoration, working with property owners that have been afflicted by hail damage.
We pride ourselves on our customer service at Capital Construction. From start to finish, they are with you every step.
All the homeowner has to do is file a claim. Inspections are free.
You have someone designated to your project.
We're in and out same day, pain-free.
We want the best install for the homeowner at the end of the day.
We are the Minnesota Star Tribune. We're not a paper, we're a fabric. One that can unite, incense, connect, frustrate, represent, and reflect all of us. The Minnesota Star Tribune, the heart and voice of the North.
Are you betting on sports? If you are, know that sports betting is definitely considered gambling. And people who bet on sports, especially adolescents, are more likely to develop a gambling problem. So stay safe and remember that sports betting is illegal and unregulated in Minnesota. This means you're betting on offshore sites with weak data security and super unreliable payouts. Learn more at mnapg.org/youthgambling.
I believe you did, but honestly, there's been a lot that's happened. I don't even know if I remember.
At some point, I'll do a little Star Tribune boosting too.
We're back here from Wayzata High School, Section 6 4A final between the number 1 team, Wayzata, and the number 2 seed, the Hopkins Royals. Hogan Greenwood alongside Star Tribune's Chris Carr. 30-27 at the halftime break. Wayzata with the lead. And just a couple quick points before we get the second half underway. Lauren Hilsheim did not have a great first half, scoreless. You're going to have to see one go through the basket just to give her a little bit of confidence. She only had 3 points in the loss last time they played Wayzata.
Yep, that's a great point. I think she looks uncomfortable out there a little bit, and that's a tribute to Wayzata's defenders. On the Wayzata side, I already gave a shout out to Allie Burns and Katie Kelsenberg. I think they're going to be the big factors here, but also watch 24, the sophomore, Annie Kieser. She could be, she could pop up here and make the difference.
So Wayzata will start with the basketball here in this second half.
Let's have another awesome half, girls.
That was an exciting first half.
Shout out
to
both
frantic
teams.
pace, right? Yeah.
These girls should be so proud of it. Half the girls in this court will go home really sad, but both teams should be super proud of how they just showed up tonight. Super good energy, great energy.
Here is Allie Burns. Julia Diggs starting on the floor, playing with those 3 fouls, working on Kieser.
Careful, Diggs.
Kieser, travel, yes.
Yeah. Woo.
So that is the 9th overall turnover for Wayzata.
Too many, of course, too many. I bet everybody on the Hopkins side held their breath when they saw that whistle, and Diggs put both hands in the air. But smart player there with Diggs. I think she'll be okay here. Just got to be extra careful on those with the hands going when your opponent's dribbling in there.
So Wayzata starts the second half defensively in that 2-3 zone. We saw Hopkins have success getting the ball in the soft spot. Ooh. This is London Harris, a high-arcing 3.
How about that? Tie game. London, she's impressed us since the jump tonight, so no surprise there.
So London Harris up to 8 points now.
Okay, a little bit different press here. Watch the third girl come up sometimes for Hopkins.
Wayzata's got to get it across the timeline, and they don't.
Wow. So Hopkins can bring the 2 or the 3. They can bring a third girl. Sometimes they bring a third girl and let a second girl drop. The Hopkins press, it's one of those things in sports where it's coming, and you can study it and study it and study it, and all of a sudden it's on top of you, and it's super tough to break.
And head coach Julie Stewart didn't really want to use a timeout there early on.
Yeah.
So they take the turnover, and Hopkins will look for the lead here on this possession.
New defensive setup for Wayzata too, going back to man.
Yeah. It's funny how a London Harris 3 can really break that up in the first possession.
Didn't last long, right?
Second half now,
Too
foul
much
on
hands.
Kelsenberg.
Yep. Just a little hand on the hip there.
Irma Walker has really blossomed in her role this season. Came onto the scene a couple of years ago as an 8th grader, just a sophomore. So much talent for Walker.
And she's so fun to watch.
So the second foul on Kelsenberg. Walker, backdoor for Liv Bell, and she missed it in tight.
Good defense. Wayzata gave up the cut there, but they collapsed real fast. Made that shot real tough.
Allie Burns coming over weak side with the contest. Here is Marinday off the bounce. Up top for Kelsenberg. Kelsenberg, little big-to-big action, and that is Allie Burns off the window.
2 seniors. I think we'll see everything those 2 got. They're going to empty the tank here, no doubt.
8 points for Allie Burns. Playing for their fellow senior Sophie Hawkinson, who tore her ACL, out for the year. Committed to North Dakota State. Expected to make a full recovery. And we'll see if she plays next year as a freshman.
No,
not a great
much.
pass from Kelsenberg.
There's Diggs.
Julia Diggs.
Get the call.
And she gets the foul. Just fearless, taking on 2 Trojans there.
Yeah, I mean, she's just a blast to watch, isn't she? She's just all energy. Brings the smarts and the floor vision along with it. It's not just gas pedal hustle. She's thinking it. She's moving. She's seeing her teammates. She's an excellent teammate. I think she jammed her thumb there a little bit. She was holding her thumb going to the line. We have enough injuries. No more injuries allowed, girls. We have too many injuries on both these teams. Nobody's allowed to get hurt. Yeah, she's shaking that hand a little bit. Shoot. Foul trouble and injuries. I always root against those 2 things.
Diggs, another one coming at the line.
There she goes.
And she cuts the Wayzata lead in half, 32-30. Opening minutes of the second half. Hogan Greenwood alongside Chris Carr. Star Tribune Game of the Week, Section 6 4A Final. A ticket to the state tournament on the line. Harvey, nice look for Burns, and she's got it and one.
Excellent. Good look, good finish. I think London just got a little too close there. It's another one of those landing fouls. You know, they watch that closely. They don't want anybody's ankle going in the wrong direction. So if you don't give your player a spot to land, they're going to get you out.
And now that's 3 on London Harris. So something to think about if you're Tara Starks. Probably not taking her out because they need her offensive prowess. But Allie Burns completes the 3-point play. Back to a 4-point lead for Wayzata. Wayzata, the number 1 seed in the section, number
back to his own
3 team overall in the state. Hopkins, the number 4 team overall in the state. Here is Liv Bell from the corner.
Yeah, I like that look. Way to go, Liv. That was just a smart shot. They didn't close out fast enough against that zone. That's the second 3 in a row, or second 3 in this half against the zone already.
And
Smart.
Diggs with the theft.
Smart.
Diggs trying to pass it off for Bell, and she's able to score it.
She came to the ball there. That's young players, you got to see that. Go to that basketball. If you see that pass isn't going to get there, you cut to the hoop.
A quick 5 points for Liv Bell, and Hopkins is back on top. And another turnover for Wayzata.
Hopkins press again. Every time Wayzata tries to get that little space in there, right, a 5-point lead, you just blink, and all of a sudden Hopkins up by 1.
14 turnovers on the night for Wayzata. Here is Walker, high post.
Good D.
Got it back outside for Hillsheim. Walker with 12. Here is Jalea Diggs. Sizing up Keyser, picked up her dribble.
Good help defense.
Bell penetrates. Hillsheim, 5 to shoot. Skip. Diggs will let it fly. And connects on the 3.
Big shot, hand in her face from Keyser, and she still nailed it. 4-point lead all of a sudden for Hopkins. Man, that turned fast. 10-point swing.
8-0 run and a turnover.
Harris.
Diggs.
Excellent. Excellent play by Harris. Wow. So props to Harris there, and saw her teammate instantly. That's why you have your eyes up. Diggs was cutting to the hoop. I mean, Hogan, wow. We just saw not only a 6-point lead, was it 5 or 6? Whatever it was gone in a flash.
I think it was a 4-point lead.
Okay.
I think Hopkins on a 10-0 run, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's just, man, that was fast. What did that take about? I feel like that was about 90 seconds. What just a complete 180.
And almost a carbon copy of how he started in that first half. Maybe not the production that Hopkins got scoring the basket off the turnover, but that pressure has been almost identical.
Yep. Props to the floor leaders for Hopkins. We saw Harris, we saw Diggs, Irma playing well. Who else snuck in there? I think it was, might have been Liv Bell with another good play in there. It's, you know, the players that Hopkins counts on again and again, they just had an excellent 90 seconds of basketball. On the other side, you know, that timeout had to come. Smart call there from Julie. I'd expect Wayzata to come out here with, you know, just take your breath, come out here ready to fight. Hey, well, we got an extra second or two. I just want to give a shout out to the Star Tribune crew in the newsroom. They've been pushing hard on these live streams, working with Hogan and the rest of the NSPN crew. So the girls basketball hub folks, Brad Enix and his team, Nick Williams and his team, just wanted to give us the tip of the hat there to the Star Tribune newsroom teams that have had fun this season bringing these live streams up.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Chris, and your Star Tribune team for allowing us to be here tonight in another tie-up, and it'll be a turnover. Arrow is in favor of Hopkins, so that'll be...
Well, certainly that wasn't what Julie drew up, so I don't know if we might have just got a little frozen there coming out of the inbounds play, but that was...
16 giveaways. Macbeth is on the floor for Wayzata out of that timeout, along with Tessa Frank. You can see Julie Stewart is trying to get some ball handlers onto the floor. Wayzata back to a man-to-man defensively. Shot clock to 7. Diggs up top, getting the screen from Walker. Walker rolling to the rim. Contact and a foul.
Yep. Good roll of the hoop there from Irma. Look at the Hopkins student section showing up, being nice and loud. I'm impressed by, we said it in the first half, but this crowd tonight's excellent. Now the Hopkins student section making themselves heard. 7-point lead. Irma's just been like steady and strong and smart, basically the whole game.
Goes 1 out of 2 from the line. That free throw does put her in double figures with 10.
Wow.
And a backside steal for Hillshine.
There's 2 Royals on every Trojan that catches the ball. 2 of them all of a sudden show up and snatch it away. Okay, Diggs is going to catch a breath, looks to her coach.
It's a 15-5 run to start the half for Hopkins.
Coach Tara Starks just looks confident right now over there. I think she's maybe feels like she found some stuff that can work.
Here is Harris from the right wing. Stepping back out of the short corner. Rebound down to Kelsenberg. Wayzata gets a much-needed stop, but can they get the ball across the timeline?
Right.
And they do with Tessa Frank. Not necessarily a scorer, and she traveled again.
Yeah, that's nerves. Julie turns and looks to the bench. I think Julie's kind of not sure quite what to do with this moment right now. She needs...
Well, she knows that Wayzata has had success on the offensive end as long as they don't turn the basketball over.
Yeah, yep. It's kind of a danger zone, right? They got Hopkins has got this 7-point lead, excuse me. Another hoop starts to make this, create a little space here.
Good deflection and a steal. Kelsenberg up ahead. Wayzata has numbers. Keyser all the way into Bell. Blocking foul. And a chance at a 3-point play.
I wasn't sure if Ani was going to go with a pass or a take there. Smart move to go with a take.
And that is a big call because that would have been the 3rd on Keyser. Instead, it goes on Hopkins.
Who was it on?
And that'll be on Liv Bell, which will be her 2nd.
Okay.
So not Diggs, but it goes on Liv Bell. And Allie Burns is back into the game. She's able to gather herself on the bench. Keyser at the line. Annika Keyser, her first bucket of the second half. And she completes the 3-point play.
Yep, smart play there. Good shot.
Back to a 4-point deficit. Under 13 minutes to go, second half.
I feel like sooner or later, right there, Lauren with the ball, I feel like something's going to crack open for her, and she might get a maybe.
Skip pass. Hillshine's
maybe
open. She's got a 3. And
kind of felt that one coming. Only a matter of time where somebody that skilled is, doesn't get a good look.
And that's going to feel good for Hillshine.
You said it at the break. If she sees one go down, watch out. Sometimes talented shooters like that, they see the ball go into the net and something just sparks in their mind. And it wouldn't surprise me if the next couple of minutes we see another one go down for 12.
Here's Annika Keyser right back to the rim, lost the handle. Kelsenberg for the follow.
There's the senior, always eyes on the ball, moving her feet. Nice play there by Katie.
Here is Harris. Out to Hillshine. That was there.
We were talking about it, right? Good shot there by Lauren, though. That's didn't go in, but that's what you do.
It's not a bad look if you're Hopkins.
Yep.
Now it's Tessa Frank over the top for Allie Burns.
Yep.
That has been there all night for Allie Burns.
It really has, and these Wayzata girls they're strong, and she leans into her defender, and they're not going to be able to contest that pass if it's got the right touch on it. So now it's Hopkins' turn to kind of reassess. You can see Diggs checking the bench. I still feel like Tara's really confident right now.
Wayzata back to a man-to-man. Harris comes to get it. Walker's posting up. Diggs gets her the basketball. Walker scores it.
McCall, yep. Almost super strong. So is Katie. Decided to go with a no call.
And I think they're just letting Kelsenberg catch her breath a little bit there. She might have got the wind knocked out of her.
Might be she could have cut a lip maybe. Just need to get a towel for the blood.
Oh, I think you're right.
Oh, no. Okay, we're just playing on. I think the ref just gave her a quick, anything to the head. Any contact with the head, a ref is going to give you an extra second just to, make sure, which is smart. Good job by the ref there.
So Kelsenberg stays in the basketball game.
So there's that third, yep.
Tessa Frank fires a pass up ahead. Kelsenberg to the rim, too strong. Rebound, Keyser. And it's out of bounds. Hillshine was on the baseline. And Keyser's gotten some good looks, just cannot convert. I think she just got caught underneath the rim there.
Yep. I mean, let him play. We don't, we're not 10 feet from the action. We're more like 110 feet from the action. So can't say everything's right or wrong, but.
And a great drive. Great take by Marinde. Would love to see Marinde for Wayzata be more aggressive and attack the basket.
Yep. And maybe just thinking about how that could develop. In the first half, we saw maybe not it wasn't an excellent start there for anybody in the Trojans. And then, 4, 5, 6 minutes in, all of a sudden Marn had the ball in center court, had her making some plays happen. I think she had a steal in there in the first half. So we'll see if that happens again, where it gets settled in a little bit after halftime and start scoring. Gosh, this is fun. This is living up to the hype.
Marinde hits on the second free throw.
Ooh.
47-43. Coming up on 11 minutes to go in the second half. Trip to the state tournament is on the line, and this rivalry has been deeply rooted for many, many years. Hopkins has controlled this rivalry, trying to beat Wayzata for the 7th straight year in the section final. Here is Julia Diggs on a crossover. That's well off the mark. The rebound collected by Hillsheim. Hillsheim stepping through, and that one falls off the rim. And it's last touched by Tessa Frank. A fresh 20 on the shot clock for the Royals.
Let's just say it one more time. This is going to be a great finish to this game. And before we forget, let's do it one more time. What a run Hopkins is on. 10 straight trips to the state tournament. Just awesome. Good job for, good by the program, by the players.
Well, they've been in the championship 3 years in a row, right?
Yeah, runner up, looking backwards, and then they won it 3 years ago. They won two out of 3 championships there because COVID interrupted that little stretch.
Deep in the shot clock, gonna have to create something. Diggs with 3. Diggs working on Kelsenberg, and she did not get it off. Shot clock violation, and maybe that'll get Wayzata fired up in the half court.
Well, for about the 30th time, we can praise the defense on both sides. Just Hopkins and then Wayzata and Hopkins. The girls are just, they're 100% bought in on the, play the whole floor.
Marinde picked up her dribble at half court.
Be careful with that.
And they got a reach-in foul.
Wow.
And Hopkins fans are upset with the call. Very understandable there. Very close to an over and back call there. I'm not sure if she was walking a tightrope there.
I was thinking the same thing, but refs were all over it. So
second foul going on Hillsheim. 4th team foul for Hopkins in this half. Get it into Annika Kieser.
Trying to isolate Katie, didn't work.
Now they get it to her high post. Kelsenberg faces up. Kelsenberg sizing up Walker. Lost the handle.
Good D, Irma.
Kelsenberg scores it.
Over good defense, too. That was good defense. Katie just got it to go.
8 points on the night for Kelsenberg. It's back to a 1-possession game. Wayzata led by 3 at the break. Hopkins led by 6 after going on a 10-0 run. Now it's Diggs.
Smart play.
And
tough.
She scores it.
Tough. Oh, boy.
Over the top. And it's out of bounds of Marinde.
Yep. So that's not going to work. You can't be throwing, passes across the court. They know that, but we'll scratch that. Here comes the freshman.
Macbeth is going to come back in. Some good minutes for Tessa Frank, even though it wasn't a perfect.
Yep.
But just giving Julie Stewart some minutes off the bench.
Smart sub there. See if Mallory brings an offensive spark.
Macbeth with 5 first half points. Now a handoff. Diggs got tied up in the screen. No call. Kelsenberg racing the other way and banks it in.
Yep. Good play. Good job by Lauren there, not making an and one for Hopkins. Smart to get a little pressure and then back off.
49-47, under 9 minutes to go in this second half. And offensive foul. Illegal screen on Walker.
So I think it was 2 years ago, this game went to overtime. I think I
yeah,
have
2
that
years
right.
ago, yes, because it was Shannon Fornshell and
starting to feel like it maybe an extra frame
Abby
tonight.
Kraswinski and Shannon Fornshell. However, Burns turns it back over. Nice bounce pass. Hilshon with a score.
Diggs with a smart pass there. Ani with a break.
Step through from Keyser, and she gets hammered.
Everybody okay?
A little bit of carnage on the deck.
Yeah, we're everybody okay. Ooh, Irma's trying to shake off a little something on her left leg, the left ankle maybe.
Might have got banged up on that illegal screen too a couple possessions ago.
We're okay, right? Everybody's all right.
Walker trying to shake it off. Keyser will go to the line shooting 2.
Keyser's not afraid of contact, that's for sure. She's a strong, tough kid. Good looking shot there. One possession game again.
Yeah, so if you go back 2 years ago, Wayzata actually thought they had the team to beat Hopkins. That game went to overtime, unable to get it done. But they learned a lot in that game. Unable to get the job done last year, but Keyser goes 2 from the line there. Back to a 2-point game.
So Wayzata's in a man-to-man again. Man, Irma and Katie are just playing like it's a section final.
And Kelsenberg called for the foul.
It's tough for a player to kind of figure out where that boundary is. They were banging pretty good there, and then the whistle came out. So
4th team foul on Wayzata. That'll be the 3rd on Kelsenberg. So really the first Trojan in foul trouble tonight. Diggs and Harris for Hopkins, playing with 3 at the moment. 8 minutes and change remaining. Walker, a little too tall of a pass. Collected in the corner by Nesbitt, and a reach-in foul. And a bailout on Annika Keyser. And that'll be 5 team fouls now for Wayzata.
And that's Ani's 3rd?
Yes, that is correct.
Yep. So she picked up those 2 quick ones and didn't get one until now, so that's good.
And we're going to see our first look at Ellie Howard coming off the bench, rocking those bright yellow shoes.
Yep. Junior brings a lot of speed and energy. She can shoot the 3.
Also a pretty good defensive player too, very active.
Yep. I think this is probably going to be a quick one, but it's good to see Ellie out there.
Kelsenberg goes to the bench. Shot clock at 13. Here is Julia Diggs working on Annika Keyser. Diggs getting the call from the sideline. Diggs behind the back. Diggs stop and start. Got the whistle and a foul. And that's going to be a 4 on Keyser.
Now that was a good little one-on-one matchup there. Diggs sure had the, she was showing off what she can do with the basketball, making plays. I thought Ani did a great job staying with her, kept in front. She probably took a little bit too much of an arm swing at the shot.
So Diggs will shoot 2, and Tessa Frank will get set to check back into this game. That one rattles out. Keyser will sit for what you would think would be maybe 2 to 3 minutes, depending on how things go. Julie Stewart going to need her, though, in the final stretch of this game.
Yep. Wayzata has just 2 starters on the court right now. It's interesting. See if Julia can knock this one down. Nice shot.
Diggs gets the second, 52 to 49. Here comes that full court pressure again. Wayzata has not really taken care of the basketball tonight. Here's Ellie Howard. Gets it into the corner for Day. Quick trap. Day dribbles out of it.
Way to get out of that. Good. Look at this defense.
Here is Tessa Frank. Skip pass. Day into the corner. Macbeth.
Wow. What a shot. What a shot. She's got one of the best shooting strokes in this game tonight. Freshman from the corner with highly contested. Nice shot there from Ellery.
That just erupted this crowd.
Yeah, brought in the live tie game. 7 minutes, man. Hogan, we are in for an awesome 7 minutes. 52 apiece.
Walker throws it away.
Good hands by Marin.
Day in transition. Day stepping through, lost the handle. And had the right idea, just could not finish it off.
One of the stars of this rivalry, Mara Braun, just sat down in front of us. She's in row 15 here. You think she'd have a better seat than that, Hogan, but good to see Mara.
Did want to shout out Mara Braun, too. I think she's out for the year with a foot injury,
yep.
But was just having a fantastic season with the Gophers.
Yeah. one of the icons of this modern rivalry. This is battle number 7. She's one of the stars. What a take! What a hoop! My goodness, Julia.
Julia Diggs, the hoop and the harm.
Wow. You know, I had her on my list as one of the players to watch this tonight, and she's making me look good. She's so good.
So 15 points now on the night for Diggs. Kelsenberg back on the floor for Frank. And just to tie a bow on that point, Mara Braun, one of the legends for Wayzata. You can almost throw Sophie Hopkins in that conversation too, with what she's done over the past couple seasons.
And she was playing as well as anybody in the state when she got hurt. Honestly, she was absolute, just a dynamo on the court, scoring, defense, and so sad.
So Diggs unable to complete the three-point play. Kelsenberg, a lot of dribbling into the front court, and Marendale will set it up. Over the top for Burns, but Walker snipped it out.
What a great eyes by Walker there to see that pass and to come after it and get it. Nice play, Irma. So Coach Tara Starks is calling some similar plays when they got hot earlier. Maybe she's going back to something she liked earlier, on her feet.
Here is Malia White. Now it's Diggs, gets the step. Diggs, too strong off the window.
Good board by Day. Nice take by Diggs. It didn't go, but what a take.
Here is Macbeth. A part of a fantastic basketball family, just knocked down a big-time 3. Kelsenberg picked up her dribble, looking for some help. Macbeth in the lane. Now it's Burns. And Malia White will pick up the foul.
Yep, not by much, but see that.
So White. Both teams are over the limit, by the way, Chris. So 1-1 the rest of the way.
Wow, this
until we get to a double bonus. But yeah, free throws are going to be big, as they often are in big-time games.
Well, the June and July and August and September driveway shooting. Let's see it pay off here for both girls. I'd love to see both teams hit some free throws, and let's have this one decided with, if I had my wish, let's take this down to the last minute. Some great plays, smart D. So I'm rooting for both teams to make their free throws. We can have this one decided with some awesome just playmaking.
Allie Burns at the line for a 1-1.
That's the senior right there, being cool, taking a breath, taking her dribble, staying in her routine. Young players watching, that's what you do. You don't change your routine just because it's a section final. Take your breath, take your dribble.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to make a game bigger than what it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes 2 for 2 from the line.
Tied up, 5:30. Let's play some ball.
Well, after the slow start, our prediction is actually going to be right. We might end up in the 60s here.
Yeah.
5.5 minutes to go.
So Elliott, the fresh legs, playing some D on Diggs, who's been everywhere.
Malia White on the bench. Liv Bell back into the game with the basketball.
So post on guard here. We'll see what happens. She took it to the hole.
Now the switch. Burns with the denial.
Oh, she touched it.
Bell saved it, but she's on the baseline.
Yep. Wow. So good job by Bell recognizing the mismatch. Just that help defense came up on her fast. I'm so interested in what's going to happen right here. So 4 players in the front court. Oh, Hopkins wasn't quite ready for that inbound. So here comes that. See the third girl crash. That's so tough to beat. They did it. Center court pass.
Marendale right to the basket, but missed the layup.
Man, she makes 90% of those.
Don't want to foul if you're Wayzata. Walker gets it away to Bell. And Hopkins could not get it up across the court. They had Diggs open, but they'll settle for the half-court set.
Freshman and sophomore there.
Hillshine.
There's that spot.
Got a 3!
Got it. We were wondering if that was going to happen. That's Lauren's spot. She loves that wing. Oh, handing the ball. That
and
was
a steal. Hillshine.
Oof.
A quick 5 points.
Shoot. Props to Diggs on the hand on the pass there.
And Hillshine's up to 10 points now in the game.
Oh.
And Allie Burns took her eyes off the basketball.
Yep, she was ready to make the next play. That happens to everybody. So we got 2 subs. Who called a timeout?
Timeout on the floor. Full timeout, we'll step aside. Catch your breath. 4:26 to go. Hopkins with the lead by 5. You're watching the Star Tribune Game of the Week, Section 6 4A Final. trip to state on the line.
Tornadoes happen, hail happens, lots of wind happens. That's where Capital Construction comes in.
Our specialty is storm restoration, working with property owners that have been afflicted by hail damage.
We pride ourselves on our customer service at Capital Construction. From start to finish, they are with you every step.
All the homeowner has to do is file a claim. Inspections are free.
You have someone designated to your project.
We're in and out same day, pain-free.
We want the best install for the homeowner at the end of the day.
Back here at Wayzata High School, Hogan Greenwood alongside Chris Carr. Final stretch of this basketball game, Chris. A lot on the line.
The only reason I'm sitting down is because I don't want to pull the cord out of this headset, otherwise I'd probably be standing up. Hey, quick shout out to the Wayzata band. They're bringing it tonight. They know it's the section final too. They're playing the soundtrack tonight. The cheer squad in front of us. Wayzata's putting on a good show. We've got like the velvet rope action around the court. Keep everybody in their spots. Yeah. Good show. Awesome job by Hopkins faithful showing up. The Hopkins side is nice and full. Students, I don't think they've sat down.
And it wasn't just long ago, by the way. It was 52 all after Macbeth hit a big-time three. Hopkins since has gone on a 7-2 run, and Wayzata has turned the basketball over a whopping 22 times tonight. It's incredible.
Yep. If this goes Hopkins' way, that'll be what they're thinking about when they're in their locker room.
Diggs has been playing in foul trouble this entire second half. She has the basketball now, working on Keyser. Malia White is back into the game. Yeah, Keyser is playing with 4. Over the top for Walker, and she scores it.
Gosh, those two are excellent.
Irma Walker with 14 points. Wayzata gets it over the top for Harvey. Outside for Burns.
It's a 2.
Short.
Clutched it. Good hustle. Nope, not quite. She just kind of caught it on her hand a little bit there.
And Hopkins hasn't led by this many since all the way back in the first half, I believe, unless they were up by right around this number early part of the second half.
If you're Hopkins, you're going for, yep.
There is Harvey. She does that with those active hands.
They were going for Irma, which was the smart thing to do, but Harvey's got that awesome defense.
Down low, Kelsenberg.
Yep.
Much needed bucket for Wayzata. 3 minutes, 22 seconds to go.
Hopkins has yet to use a timeout. Wouldn't be surprised if we actually saw one here, just unless they can get a look that they like real fast.
Here is Diggs taking the air out of the basketball, working on Keyser. Hillshot out of the corner, shot fake.
Good defense by Marin.
Diggs will force it up and
wow,
hit.
That's a big shot, contested. Jeez, they're so fast.
18 points for Jalea Diggs. Marin Day right to the rim,
Good
blocked.
block by Irma.
Here is Malia White. Hillshine.
Oh boy, nope, short.
That might have been an early dagger and a reach-in foul.
That's 4.
London Harris will pick it up in the backcourt.
It might have been Diggs.
Oh, you're right, it was Diggs.
Yep, which would be 4. Is she limping a little bit? No, she's just like, she just played that 75 miles an hour all night. She's not limping, she's just such a hard worker. I just, every coach watching this broadcast right now is thinking, I wish I had a Diggs on my team.
So Lindsay Harvey at the line for a 1-and-1. She missed it. And the rebound to Hillshine. So Wayzata comes up empty on that possession.
2.5.
And a foul on Keyser, and that'll do it.
It's 5.
And that's not a great way to pick up your 5th foul.
So she'll sit, and freshman Mallory Macbeth will come on.
So 10 points for Annika Keyser. She gets a round of applause from this Wayzata crowd.
That'll put Diggs at the line for a 1-and-1 too.
Yep, 8th team foul for Wayzata. Boy, Jalea Diggs just matching this moment.
Absolutely.
19 big ones for Jalea Diggs. Malia White's also had a big game.
Just so impressed with Julia. Push this to 10 if she makes this. Short. Oh boy.
And they did not get the rebound. Wayzata couldn't corral it.
That's costly. We'll see how much Hopkins slows it down.
Harris wants it.
Oh, I think that was his incidental.
Harris to the rim, and it's out of bounds. And Martin Day is really shaken up.
Yep. Look at a stoppage here. So Martin was looking in for the possible steal, and that might have been London who swung the ball around. That happens, you know.
Looks like she's going to shake it off.
Yep.
I can tell you what, that doesn't feel good, taking an elbow to the jaw.
No. But
tough kid.
2:10 remaining in the section final, and you know that's. I don't think she's going to come out. Oh no.
Harvey will come out. Maybe a little offense for defense potentially.
Yep. Good call there.
Howard not a major offensive.
She's got that 3-shot though.
Player, but yeah, she does have the capability to knock it down.
Might come right here actually. Oh nope, stolen.
Malia White with the theft.
What a smart play. Is Diggs going to pull the brakes? Yes.
Smart. Under 2 minutes to go.
Double team
9-point lead. Hopkins. Timeout Starks.
Wow. Well, that was an impressive few minutes there from Hopkins. Their players look gassed. They are giving it everything they got. Both sides are, of course. I think what Hopkins wanted to do, they've been able to do it. They wanted just to just cause chaos on the court in some ways, especially when Wayzata was dribbling toward the middle of the court, picking up the ball too much. That press is tough. One girl slides it back while another girl slides forward. Wayzata just had a really hard time with some of those defensive sets, both at center court and even just when they get in their offensive set. Hopkins is just pinching. They're tough. They're a tough team.
And we talked about it before the game too. The old adage of it's hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 year.
Yep. Yeah, some of those cliches, they're cliches for a reason because you keep seeing it over and over.
And this is just a different rivalry, different team. When you talk about Hopkins, they have a rich history in this girls basketball program.
Oh yeah, yep. Plenty of time left here, but with each tick of that clock, the pressure's on Wayzata. It's a 9-point game. This is a big possession. They can't have, if you're Wayzata, you can't have this get much higher on the spread.
65-56. Harris will inbound.
Going for the foul right away, it looked like. Yep.
So a 1-and-1 coming for Malia White.
So they decided to go with the foul right away, put him at the line. That's their 9th, right? Is it their 9th? So, yep. So it's a bit of a gamble, but if this comes off the rim, then get what you want if you're Wayzata. But nope.
Malia White calmly knocks it down.
Senior, she knows what's good. This isn't her first time here. 11 points would make this real tough. Stating the obvious, but minute 48 left.
67-56.
Wayzata can't do too much. Don't do too much with one pass. You got to chip away if you're Wayzata. Boy,
Day looking for some help. Kelsenberg gets it across.
Yeah, they're going to have to start shooting. That's blocked.
Kelsenberg gets it, and
that might be on Walker.
Yeah, that's a little bit of misfortune there for Walker. Shot was blocked.
Yep.
And she's going to pick up the foul.
Yeah, I think Irma spun to box out when it was actually kind of a live ball coming out their way. How many she had? That's only 3 for Irma.
And that is the 9th team foul as well. So just a 1-and-1 for Kelsenberg.
Okay, so Julie Stewart, Wayzata's coach, is really thinking over some fresh legs here.
You know what? I think we just saw Julie Stewart implore her team to commit a foul. I think they're putting in these players to maybe pick up some fouls.
It could be.
Maybe extending the game a little bit.
Just put some speed on the court, and you might be totally right here. We'll know in about 3 seconds.
Kelsenberg splits a pair. Rebound up for grabs. Hillsheim collects it, and a foul is going to go on Wayzata.
Was that on Ellie Burns, maybe? She doesn't. Might be her first.
So it goes on Ava Doherty, who just came into the game.
Yep.
15 in blue. Juliet Brill also came in, number 42 in blue. That'll put Hillsheim at the line. And she has one of the better strokes in the high school game here in Minnesota.
Another senior. The seniors keep coming in the line for Hopkins. All right, so with Howard and Macbeth, we've got perhaps their two top shooters.
Wayzata really needs threes, though, at this point in the game.
I would expect to see one here somewhere.
69-57. 128 to go. Howard turns it over.
Probably no foul.
Get it across for Walker.
I'm guessing we'll see a foul here from Wayzata. If they can catch up to it.
Leah White playing keep away with Diggs. And Allie Burns will put the foul on Diggs.
Boy, Hogan.
Hopkins starting to sense it a little bit.
Yep.
First time in a long time that they've played on the road in a section final, but they've met the moment.
They really have. You know, wasn't quite sure how that was going to turn out. Game's not over, but it's sure leaning toward the Hopkins side, and they're a machine. They're so good. And here's probably the player I'm most impressed with tonight. And I came in the gym wondering if she was going to show me something, and so there she is, Jalea White, 10th grade guard.
1 for 2, but another rebound for Hillsheim.
There's the senior chasing it down.
Walker and Harris will back it out.
That's just smart basketball.
And another foul. Wayzata is just getting crushed on the glass right now.
You know, it's never, I don't think a basketball game's ever just one thing, but you've been keen on it all night. It's the turnovers. It's
24 turnovers for Wayzata.
It's the combination, and you know, it's one of those things where you want to give credit where credit's due. Hopkins, that's happening because of what Hopkins brought into this gym tonight, which was incredible defensive intensity, quick hands, quick feet, relentless. Those girls on the floor right now are so tired, but credit to them. 15-point game with a minute left.
Up ahead for Kaya Nash, who's into the game, a three-point shooter.
That's meant to go up.
Ellie Howard in the corner for three, knocks it down.
Julie's asking for a foul right away.
Diggs over Harris, gets it across for White. Now Hillsheim, it's not the person you want to foul when she got hit in the face, but she will be at the line.
So big shot there. That was Howard from the corner. She's an excellent shooter, junior. Caught that and let it fly, nailed it. But Hopkins did what you got to do. Move that ball. Do not let the ball get stuck in anybody's hands. Pass, pass, pass. Got the ball all the way down the other baseline. And now the seniors at the line again.
Lauren Hillsheim with 13 big points tonight. Only had 3 in the last meeting. She had 16 in the first meeting this year. And she's really come up big for Hopkins.
Those are big. Those are big, big free throws right there.
74-60, 40 seconds to go.
Hopkins bench is starting to feel it. Some smiles are cracking over there.
Here is Ellie Howard. Howard drives, skip it, Kaya Nash. Wayzata's got to get a shot up.
Yep.
Kelsenberg. Blocked.
Blocked by Diggs.
Howard blocked by Diggs.
Jeez, what a game. What a game for Julia Diggs. So Hogan, this is going to go Hopkins' way again. It's 14 points. 14-point spread with 21 seconds. You know, once again, let's just give them their flowers for the 11th. If our research is right, that's the 11th year in a row this team is going to state. Unbelievable. Coming out of this section with this skill.
Macbeth, a heave, rebound from Malia White. Wayzata looking to foul.
They'll call
White
it off.
will back it out.
6 seconds.
And Hopkins will dribble out the final seconds. The Royals reign supreme, and Hopkins is going back to the state tournament.
Congratulations to the Hopkins Royals. They earned it. You know, there wasn't Wayzata's gonna, you know, it'll sting thinking about those turnovers. They had trouble with their breaking the press. That stuff will sting. But it's obvious from up here in the back row of the bleachers that that Hopkins defense was the absolute factor in this game. They had excellent offensive play. Diggs, Walker, others flashed here and there, but this Hopkins program that is known for their intense defense, that's what we saw. They brought it.
Yeah, they had a little bit of a chip on their shoulder tonight after Wayzata beat them twice in the regular season for the first time in a long time. So Hopkins wins it 74-60. They are going back to the state tournament. They'll most likely be a top 3 seed, depending on how things play out. But the player of the game tonight, Jalea Diggs, matching her season high with 20 points.
Wow.
And
yeah.
Chris, it was a fun game tonight.
I had a blast. Thanks for having me. I hope we get to do it again someday soon. Jalea Diggs and the Royals, congratulations to you girls for your awesome effort. You just be so proud of what you accomplished here. Not easy to come in and do a different gym and get back at a team that already got you twice this year, but wow, we just, I'm just really impressed with Tara Starks, her staff, and of course these girls. Just excellent performance.
And we'll stay on air. We'll stay on air here to capture this medal ceremony for both teams.
Yeah, and for Wayzata, this they'll crack the code sooner or later, right? They'll crack the code sooner or later. These are awesome programs. I've been around the youth programs for a long time. Hopkins is always showing up with awesome 5th grade teams and 6th grade teams. So is Wayzata. Wayzata is known for really putting it to girls in some of these grade school tournaments. So these two, would you or I be surprised if we saw this game a year from now? Not at all. Sooner or later, Wayzata will break through.
Well, they've only met 7 years in a row in the section final.
Right. There's a reason, right? This isn't an accident.
But you just can't help but think what Wayzata would look tonight if they had their senior point guard.
Yep.
Who is going to go down as a Trojan legend.
Yep. And there she is right there. She's on crutches. This is Sophie Hawkinson we're talking about.
And you can just see the emotion on her face.
Yep, you feel for these girls. Sophie, like I said it earlier, but nobody in the state was playing better than her when she got hurt against Hopkins, actually, not that long ago, maybe about 3 weeks ago, I think that was. Sophie was, she's an excellent soccer player. She's going to go be an athlete in college.
What a career she had this year, or what a year she had.
Yep.
Played with her sister on the soccer team, Lila Hawkinson.
Yeah.
They won a state title in soccer. PD Dinah, and just a brutal knee injury.
Yep.
Expected to make a full recovery. We wish her nothing but the best.
Yep. And Hopkins had their injuries too with
Cupido.
Ava and Tatum. Yeah. They, both sides can, kind of hate that fact that they had to deal with injuries this year.
Well, Wayzata will get Kate Emelot back next year.
Yes.
Who would have been a huge factor to this team.
Yep.
She's only a junior, but so composed at the point guard position.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be, they're just so strong. These girls they work so hard. They take their training so seriously.
Such a young team too. I know they're
physical.
graduating Hawkinson and Kelsenberg, but Kieser will be a year older. Day will be a year older. Kaya Nash will be a year older. They have a lot of talent.
They do. Absolutely they do.
Assistant coaches, Tina.
Shout out again to the Hopkins fans.
What an environment.
So, yeah, the student section, there's a whole chunk of that crowd over there. The student section just stood up the whole time. The Hopkins, they filled up their side of the bleachers. They're used to just a short drive to their gym for this game, so they came down out west a little bit and showed up, cheered on their team.
You could argue that the only bigger game than Wayzata Hopkins girls basketball is Wayzata Hopkins boys basketball.
Well, yeah, I mean,
someone could make that argument.
I'll take this ticket over the boys ticket. This is, this game has been called the unofficial state championship before.
100%.
And that's not the case this year. No, everybody from Maple Grove is going to say, has their say on that. Maple Grove is number 2 in our Star Tribune top 25 poll. This is the 3rd and 4th ranked team.
And we already saw an upset in Section 2 as well, as Eden Prairie went down to Chaska. So maybe a chance for Minnetonka to have a chance to repeat.
Right.
Number 0.
I wouldn't have guessed Tonka and Hopkins in the championship game again a couple of weeks ago, but it could very well be. But
how good is the Lake Conference year to year?
It really is, and Maple Grove's headed that way. I love seeing these girls shake hands at center court after this, you know.
Number 3, Ava.
Yeah, great sportsmanship.
Yep.
They know each other. They've grown up with each other.
Yep. Oftentimes these girls see each other on the AAU circuit. Sometimes they're teammates. But, you know, you do a battle like this, and then you come to center court and shake hands.
Number 5,
like that.
So the Lake Conference is trying to pick up another state champion this year. 3 years ago, Hopkins won it. After that, it was St. Michael Abbeville with Tessa Johnson.
Good scene there. Tatum and Sophie were just gave each other a hug. Two awesome players who, like we just talked about, unable to play tonight because of knee injuries.
Number 12, Lauren Hillshine.
What a second half for Lauren Hillshine, right? We wondered if she'd get a little spark going after she made one, and she did. It wasn't just scoring for her either. She was all over the place, catching offensive rebounds, making some steals.
So Hopkins trailed by 3 at the break. They outscored Wayzata in the second half, 47-30.
Wow.
And a lot of that came at the end with free throws. This final score won't be indicative of how this game went, back and forth. But
There's the 2 players right there at center court just now that had an awesome night. London and Ani. We didn't see Ava Smith much in the second half. I don't think, but she had some flashes of good play for a freshman in the first half.
Number 24, Ella Roberts.
I'm still shaking my head. 7 straight section finals that these two teams have met, and Hopkins has won all 7.
yeah, it's incredible.
Number 30.
You know, sometimes people say it can't be a rivalry if one side keeps winning. I disagree with that. You know, I think this is one of the best rivalries in all of Minnesota high school sports.
Yeah, because it doesn't just stop with basketball.
That's true too.
It goes through many different sports. And with how close Wayzata's come, you know, it's.
Yep, we've had overtime games.
Yeah.
We've had games that, you know, last year Wayzata had a sizable lead, and Hopkins stormed back, and their stars took over. This year, it felt like more methodical this year. 2-point lead, 4-point lead, 6-point lead. You blink, all of a sudden it's 10, 11. Just that defense was just crushing.
Well, what a job Tara Starks has done with this Hopkins team.
Yep. She said, what she told me before the game, that she said, shout out to my baby girl TT in Phoenix. So TT, if you're watching, you should be proud of Coach Starks out here. She had this team ready to rock, and they executed. And there they are, putting that trophy above their heads and showing it to their fans. Well deserved. Absolutely well deserved.
Wayzata's going to remember this moment. They're going to want to get their revenge already again next year.
Yep.
They took another step forward this year, Chris. They beat Hopkins twice this year, which never happened in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, you want to this is what Wayzata wants. You want to have the section final on your home court, and they got that far. That's a step forward.
This concludes the Section 6-4A.
But man, shout out once again to this program.
And sportsmanship throughout the tournament.
The Hopkins seniors too. I mean, Lauren, London, Malia. I think those are the girls we saw on the court tonight. This senior year, everything gets a little bit, you know, kind of feel it a little bit differently. It's your last time for this. It's your last time for that. It's your last regular season finale. It's your last section final, and they played like they wanted. Both teams did. They both sides played like they wanted it bad. But you know, I love what I saw. It was a super entertaining basketball game. Thank you for putting up with me up here. I had a blast sitting next to you and doing this.
Great having you in, Chris.
And I don't have much else to say other than congratulations to the Hopkins Royals, and they put in an absolutely impressive effort tonight. They played hard, they played fair, they played smart, they played fun. It was super fun to watch. So shout out absolutely to the Hopkins Royals going back to state for the 11th time.
Hopkins books a ticket to Williams Arena. They'll be playing in the Class 4A state tournament in the days to come. Hopkins defeating Wayzata 74-60. Player of the game is Julia Diggs. She had a 20-piece tonight as Hopkins comes on the road and beats Wayzata by 14. For Chris Carr and our entire crew, Hogan Greenwood saying thank you for joining us and good night from Wayzata High School. Hopkins, your Section 6 4A champion over Wayzata.